welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com Broiler Chicken Show. Brian loves to do multiple intros, but what the hell? I love the sound of my own voice. You all know that, of course. Anyway, got the uniform on. God, I love this TRI hoodie. It's so comfy, cozy. All ready to go to give Liam a totally awesome afternoon as best as I can. I'm going to be moving at the end of this week and actually through next week. So this is going to be a really screwy week or two for me. And of course, good old Brian plans to have his move right through an eclipse window. Way to go, Brian. Trying to add more stress to my life than I already need. But of course, trying really hard to get that bald patch going. I'm actually a little surprised. The hair is actually looking pretty good today. So anyway, just being silly. 11 o'clock, actually 11:12 here on the West Coast. Don't really want to have this go too long here today, just simply because I don't like to keep Lily waiting. So I think we'll probably try and wind this up around an hour or so. If I say that, then it'll probably be like an hour and 15, 20 minutes or so. But I have asked Chris to put a hard stop on the rants at about a half an hour. So Chris, hopefully you're good for that. And when he chimes in, that means I head over to the Q&A document and we just talk questions and interact with you guys on YouTube for the last bit of this broadcast, and then ask everybody to wish me luck on the road with Lily, and I will send you on your way. All right, so where is AMA document links? Do we have that? Oh my goodness, this mouse is so frustrating. It takes 10 minutes just to scroll up 2 messages. All right, actually, maybe moving in gift. I think I'll splurge and maybe actually treat myself with some new technology hardware. I could use a new mouse. I don't understand why. This is like one of these optical mouses too. I just don't understand why. It's just probably made in China. It's a piece of garbage. Anyway. Okay, so just so everybody is aware, and this is really the whole purpose of these broadcasts on Sunday for me, is we should take some time and speak to the questions that were asked. And everybody should understand from the get-go, this is just purely my opinion. I've been at this game a while, so I think I have a pretty good take on how this capitalist thing goes. But at the same time, too, no guarantees from the management and all that kind of fun talk. Okay, so let's rant. We put together this cute little newsletter here. It's a nice one-page summary of everything I think that's going on in the market. That's probably of note this past week. And primarily what I do like to do for this newsletter is a little bit of a Bitcoin summary on a weekly basis, any trades or ideas that have sort of caught my attention over the past week, an overview of our weekly commodity trend survey. And I have to say, I am over the top impressed with the team here this past week or two. I just discovered something that the development team has put together here that I was not aware of before, but when I saw this, I nearly crapped my pants. And that is that we now have the S&P 500, all 500 of the biggest U.S. stocks in the weekly commodity trend survey. So frankly speaking, if you are a stock investor, and the irony of it all is we should probably get things like Bitcoin ETFs going in the ETFs list as well. But if you are a stock investor, now we basically cover all of the big stocks in the US, and you can actually even see at any given time. So, I mean, this is a pretty damn big index of stocks, but at any given point in time, there should be names that are attractive. And I went through this list. I think it was on Friday. And I had just seen this. I was just like, whoa, what's this? And it's like the whole damn market is right here on a silver platter. Couldn't believe this. And look how many stocks are under the attractive umbrella. I can't even count that high. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. And that's at Old Dominion. Geez, looks like another 25. Ah, God. Anyway, you get the idea. I mean, there are a ton of names that are really, really interesting. Um, just FYI, and we're working on this, and Sjord's actually got a whole army of AI bots working now, programming for him, which is really cool. One guy, and I think he has 1,000 bots now, AI agents working for him. So we will get our head wrapped around this, but I have noticed, and this is a bit of a problem with our data sourcing, that some of the stocks that actually have gone through stock splits, unfortunately, these obviously are not accurate 50% rules. So as a result, the stocks that are in our database that have split and we're figuring out how the hell to deal with the splits, they come up as absolutely incredibly sexy names, but they're not really. It's just the fact that we haven't dealt with a stock split. But aside from those issues, if we actually look at this list, and I went through name after name after name on Friday, I went through like number 3 through like number 7 or 8. And frankly speaking, I think all of these are just sitting there. If you trade and you look to make money from trading, this is like an absolute gift. I mean, this is worth $80 a month subscription just getting this list here. And oh, by the way, we also do it for crypto, so, and you've heard me barking. I mean, the crypto audience, unfortunately, it's not as big as the stock audience, but the same logic is going on here in crypto. And I've put tweets out and stuff to this effect, but this is the sad part about the public and how the public participates in the market and how institutionals participate in the market. How do institutions buy? And actually, I thought it was really super cool. I mean, when I see our dashboard, which is basically just gift wrapping you names, lists that you assets that you should be concentrating on, hunting your setups. And lo and behold, along comes Larry Williams with his public broadcast and is like, all right, well, it's time to get off our butts and get ready for rallies. You couldn't script this any better. Oh, and by the way, I mean, like literally, I don't know how I got to create some sort of commercial or something around this, because I mean, it's so perfect. It's so perfectly cliche too. I mean, the long and short of it here is the whole purpose of the breadth indicator is to get you to not buy when the public is just being stupid and throwing their money at the market, which they do at the tops of markets. So the breadth indicator slowly grinds its way down into oversold conditions. If anything, I almost don't like this, because I want both of these lines down below this red 20 level. If I see that, then I know they're just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. We almost got that situation there last week. You can see the country funds, commodities, all the currencies, everything all wiped out here. And then, unfortunately, on Friday with the options expiry, and unfortunately, I think that's what's driving a lot of this price action right now, they brought the market back out of that egregiously oversold condition. So I was a little bummed by that. But the point of the matter here is, if you trade setups, if you want to learn how to participate in the market like an institutional player, now is the time when you got to be paying attention. Now is the time when you actually have to start allocating your capital. If you have been, like I strongly suggest, working stink bids down at the bottom ends of ranges, then as these assets have been just absolutely puking out, and crypto, they're just throwing the baby out with the bathwater right now, you should actually be buying, and you should be forcing yourself to accumulate. So anyway, to start the broadcast off, yet another incredible value proposition by this dashboard that we've built, this engine. Now you can actually peruse the entire S&P 500 stock index for assets that are trading at the bottom ends of their ranges, and where moving averages are actually telling you they're trying to start trending. whether it be in crypto or whether it be in the entire stock market, or the currencies markets, or the industrials, transports, utilities, the entire ETF industry. We got you covered. I mean, I'm just so over the top pleased. If anything, I suppose the next thing I need to do here is ask you to include the TSX 300, and then I'll have all the stocks I'd ever want to buy ever. That would be like 800 different stocks I could choose from on a daily basis. Is like shooting fish in a barrel. And if you actually see some of these names, you go, anybody that's actually been working with me for a while, and if you've taken the education program, well, then you should be like, yeah, this is a no-brainer. I mean, this Walgreen boots. I mean, what an absolutely beautiful chart. Anybody that's worked with me for a while should look at that chart and go, yeah, I could see why that Beamish guy might be interested. I mean, what letter of the alphabets do you see here? Down, up, down, breakout. And in the indicators, look at a little M, but up, big W, up, more W's, up, more W's. We're not even overbought. The DI sitting at 55. This is like the middle of the range. And of course, what did Brian tell you whenever you see these price momentum oscillators? This DI is a combination of both price and volume momentum oscillators, so even better here. What happens if you get W's through 50 lines? I mean, this is just poetic, and if you don't want to believe the TRI platform, if you go and look at this kind of chart over there on the stock market, she looks even better. Let's head on over to TradingView, because TradingView is the place where we want to look at these charts. Let's go. I think I have a sheet where it's, yeah. I suppose we'll talk Bitcoin in a bit, but that Walgreens boots. I mean, and what I like to do, of course, is buy against the bottom ends of ranges, sell against the top ends of ranges, and then force myself to take profits on revisits of value and all that kind of conversation. The mean. I don't know. You tell me. That's a weekly price chart. Any room to move up there? So this kind of chart has Brian written all over it. I mean, that's a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. I mean, holy crap, look how far this thing's gone. If all we do is we just ask for Adam's, Adam, what's the level that we should always be looking for at any given point in time? I love this. In the day trading group, he's kind of like, oh, there's a level. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to let him type it. As soon as he types it, then I'll continue the conversation. That's if he's there. I'll sit here for 5 minutes. Adam, are you around? I don't know how delayed the YouTube feed is. I suppose even if we just use 50% levels, $32.50. That's a triple from where we are here. Holy crap. Adam's 38.2. You're the man. I always think, it's 38.2 is kind of an odd number. I mean, is anybody in the public going to wake up and go 38.2% retracement? That's what I look for. I mean, not really. I mean, that's a very fibby kind of number. If you've worked with fibs for a while, then you understand, fib wise, this is a very, very important level. I would agree with you, Gorlo. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing your name correctly or not. My apologies if I'm not. 50% level is our keep us simple, stupid. Don't overthink this, WD GAN. And really, I might even argue what this market really needs to do is a Wyckoff check of that structural breakdown level. What a coincidence. That's right in that, we had one gentleman on the site who was an absolute genius, and he always talked about this, but lately, man, I don't know what's happened with him. And unfortunately, I'm not really going to make reference to him. I'm just going to simply call it the pump chaser, dump chaser zone. I won't give first names because, ironically enough, I want to make you guys all famous, but I see that what ends up happening is that these humans just end up just being humans. I wanted to pump up that Da Vinci guy, and I thought he had an excellent trade setup. And then after a while, he left it, and and then he starts going and shilling shit coins and just being a greedy human and not really doing very good TA. So I've stopped calling the setup that we named after him that. And unfortunately, I think this has gone the same way with this gentleman. I'm very disappointed in these people. But anyway, it is what it is. I think I've all told you I don't know how much longer I have left working with the public here. And I'll tell you, now that this platform is producing trade signals like this, I don't think I even really need to work with the public too much longer. This right here, this weekly commodity trend survey, if you use this correctly, this is an absolute godsend. And I mean, it's just the names are just handed to you on a silver platter. And if anything, I put out a tweet, and in crypto, it's the same thing, right? I mean, just tons of names. All you got to do is just wait for this thing to start saying either the name is attractive or you're hunting longs, and it's time to get in there and start hunting your setups. It's just that simple. When something is sitting meh, or heaven forbid, something is sitting avoid, they'll just leave it alone. There's just nothing to do. And then, you come up, you pull up the sheet, and you get these damn charts that look like this. I mean, this has got bull call spread written all over it. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. I can't believe how easy this is. I think what I'm going to do is I'll go buy like the 20 call, and then I'll go and write like maybe like the 30 call, something along those lines. In fact, I could probably even price it out here with you right now. Although this is the problem with these videos is I start going off on a tangent with you people. And then an hour later, Chris is like, okay, time's up. And it's like, crap. So I better not do but damn, I mean, I'm just over the top pleased with the platform. It's just doing exactly what it needs to do. And I got plenty of capital. In fact, I'm thinking about going down and buying a nice little property in Chicago and then giving Chris a bunch of money, and then he and I are just going to go and trade this into the fucking moon. And I'll tell you, buying a bull call spread on that's like shooting fish in a barrel. That's so easy. That's ridiculous how easy that trade is. And I mean, look at the risk reward, right? I mean, this is the best part about this. Now, the bull call spreads, all you do is you buy the spread and then risk 50% of the investment. And if the option trade goes 50% against you, you just walk away from it. But just even if I bought the stock and risked this W and look to take profits at 38.2, that's a 5-to-1 risk reward. Like, fuck me. That's about as easy as it gets. It's shooting fish in a barrel. That's incredible. I absolutely can't believe that. Anyway, so I'm just over the top pleased with what I'm seeing here. And I guess, this actually reminds me a hell of a lot, and I did find it interesting. This reminds me a lot of this trade. So I forced myself to step in here, and I already got the risk-free trade on this pop here on the bull call spread. I did literally the exact same trade. If I'm not mistaken, I think I bought like the 30s and wrote the 40s. And I've just did that down in here. And just on this pop right here, I got the double off. So I've got a risk-free trade on this thing. And I don't care what the hell happens. Gotta say, this is looking exactly the same. I think you're gonna get some sort of white knight. Somebody says something. You've already see the W's in place here. And if I go and buy like a January 2026, 2027 even spread, then that gives me a world of time. Just out of curiosity, just for fun, I just want to go see what they're going to cost me here. So we'll go out like it's 26. Let's go see what that's going to cost me. All right, 300 days till expiry, so I think we got a bit of time on this. Buying the 20s. That's not the right strike. What's going on here? What the heck am I doing here? Wow, if that's a price for a $20 call here? Huh, that's interesting. On the leaps, 2026. Huh. They're basically giving this away. I could sneak my way in here and buy like, isn't that interesting? Even the 15 calls, they're only going for 7 cents. Huh. That's a bit surprising. God, you could make a bucket load here. And actually, there's an interesting, so yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit more. But an interesting example of a bull call spread trade that I just did recently, that I just strapped on, was on this Beyond, which is the old Overstock, which had a bit of crypto exposure. And I mean, you tell me. I mean, look at that chart. Is there any money to be made here whatsoever? And I don't even really need to look at that weekly chart here. Basically, just bought the spread against these lows. Strike prices are a bit high on this thing, but you can see that range, and especially heading into October, November, December, and our expectations of what we're thinking we'll see out of crypto, I don't see a problem with this trade. So anyway, this is a bull call spread that I just recently put on. And actually, I might even argue that this is along the sort of crypto lines, because the newsletter here today, as I pointed out there a couple times in my initial burst of enthusiasm there, I mean, the market is telling us to get on the buy side. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to go and blindly buy something. If you want to do a spread trade, you can't really do spreads in crypto, unless, of course, they have stock market proxies. There is a Bitcoin bull call spread that I'm looking at strapping on through the IBIT, but it's basically the same logic. If you want to make money at this game of investing, you have to force yourself to think like an institutional player. You have to force yourself to step in when these assets correct and they're at the bottom ends of their ranges. And then, of course, when the public gets stupid and they're just going crazy and they're not really understanding what prices they're paying for assets, that's when you have to force yourself to ring the register and pay yourself for your efforts. So, interesting start to the rant here today. I definitely like the buy side of the market if your asset is down at the bottom in the range. Love it. And actually, there was an interesting, there was a Bitcoin conference. I think it was on either Thursday or Friday. Might have been Friday, but it was one of those days. And actually, one of the gentlemen, and I pointed this out on the Friday TRI daily brief video call that I do on the site Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. I pointed out that one of the forum participants is directly dealing with institutions in the crypto space. And they said, we'll buy a little bit of Bitcoin up at the top. It was like 100 G's or something. But we won't buy in size until we actually see at least a 30 to 40% correction. And I was like, that somebody could find that piece and throw it in the lounge. I'll add it to this conversation. Big House, there you go, on Friday in New York City. So do you remember that? Do you have that video handy? And there was a very specific mark in that video. I tried to find it while I was doing the video Friday, but I couldn't find it. But that one line is actually everything that you all are supposed to be trying to do. That one statement he said, I'll buy a little bit up top here. This is what the institutions, basically taking words right out of the institutional player's mouth. But I won't buy in size until we see that correction. And frankly speaking, we are now seeing that correction. So absolutely perfect. And this is exactly what I'm trying to teach all of you what to do and how to play this game. And this tool, my friends, makes this job real easy. All you got to do, and I even put a tweet out to the effect. It's the same logic. We live in a very digital world, right? All right, and all that kind of nonsense. And so because of that, and because of all these scripts and stuff that we can buy, well, I suppose you could buy it. I guess what we do at TRI is a bit of a barter, right? So we teach people how to trade, and a lot of people are so thankful. They go on TradingView and they write scripts and stuff, and they just share it with me because they're just like, "Oh my God, Brian, you are awesome! Thank you for teaching me how to trade." So I just wanted to show you one of the social media Barks I did, although I don't know which. I guess it's this page. Do you see Twitter on here somewhere? I guess we'll load up a new one. Anyway, this this is exactly the same conversation as fuck off. Where are you? You're in here somewhere as this. So you can actually now build scripts, and this is a divergence, right? For all of our educational programs, we always espouse you should have 3 unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade. And I might actually argue that this weekly commodity trend survey, that's what all this is nothing more than trade location. Are we above or below the 50% level? And think of the 50% level as nothing more than the mean. And if we are 20, 30, 40% below the 50% level, then you probably got yourself a half decent trade idea. If you actually start seeing signs that moving averages are starting to turn bullishly, well, then you actually have some momentum, right? We call that like indicator confirmation. But the basis of this to actually get like attractive is we must have trade location. And so this is absolutely awesome just as a keep you honest. If you see an asset that, and we'll look at the stock market, something like Gen Digital, I don't even know what any of these, Southwest Airlines, I suppose there's a good example. And if we just pull that up, this is everything opposite to what I want you thinking about as institutional investor wannabes. Southwest Airlines, that's LUV. Am I going to want you to come in and chase an up market like that? When this is the daily chart, there's the 200 period moving average. That's basically the same thing as your 50% rule. So really a return to the mean was this move here. Ironically enough, at this point here, I would actually be thinking, you know what, maybe we should be hunting shorts, looking for a return to the mean. And then down here, I might be thinking, let's hunt longs, looking for a return to the mean. That's the way this game works. So here, are you ever going to hear Brian Beamish coming and saying, oh yeah, Southwest Airlines, that's a good buy right there? That's crazy. You're just asking for trouble. So, I don't think that's serves you well at all. And hopefully, the interesting thing with this Walgreen Boots is that, I mean, they're just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. If I understand correctly, they're going to have to restructure the company. Probably a big rollback comes here soon. But some of these other names, God, they're just absolutely perfect. Like this, I think when I was looking at this DXCM, I love when charts look like this. I mean, it's just check it out, right? I mean, proof of the pudding's in the eating, DXCM. Boom. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Talk about at the bottom end of ranges. This asset should, if we think about 50% rules, right? And Adams, Sacramento slab. I mean, really, this asset should trade back to these levels here. And what's really cool about this signal, of course, is that is a reload zone. I mean, this is everything if I sat in bed and dreamed about, okay, I'd love to get like a signaling system that just gave me ideas that were sitting in reload zones, and the range over the past year or so, 50% level is like what, 30, 40, 50% higher than we are. To me, if I get any kind of W down in here, that's a no-brainer buy signal every day of the week. Right up against that beautiful structure and trend line breakouts and reload zones. I mean, you can't script that any better. Absolutely textbook. And more importantly, this is the simple premise. And let's say I bought Mountain, right? I don't even know if that's even that good of a level, but let's say that was the level that it came in. This is the most important thing out of this whole trading experience. If I'm right, I get paid substantially more than if I'm wrong. If I take trades that are a 2.3 to 1 risk reward ratio, and that's all I do, and I'm only right half of the time, like literally take a coin, heads I win, tails you lose. But if I'm right only half of the time, heads I win, tails you win. But when I'm right, you have to pay me $2.30. But when I'm wrong, I only have to pay you $1. Am I a profitable trader after like 10 trades? You better believe it. You probably do better than 99% of all investors out there. That's the scary part about trading. And I was actually trying to convince somebody this the other day, and they just don't realize it. They're sort of like, what's a benchmark that you should shoot for annualized percentage returns? And this is, of course, this is where the stupid, crypto bros and these venture cap junkies that are just nothing more than adrenaline junkies. They're like, oh well, you're gonna buy something, yeah, it's gonna go up 1,000x, you're gonna get rich, right? That's not the way to run a business. By definition, we are statisticians. And the absolute perfect example, and it's a great part of this will go into the book, I guarantee you, is a company called Three Arrows Capital, where man, they look like geniuses in these VC bull markets. And then in the crypto winters, they literally went bankrupt. And that is the number one thing you have to avoid, like the plague. And so if you just sit here and just run trading systems where you know that this happens maybe about 60-70% of the time, ideally 66 2/3, and you can bang out 2 to 1 risk rewards, holy crap, your percentage return is ridiculous. And all you are is a statistician. You just keep doing the same thing over and over and over. So, seeing this image, all of you should look at this image and go, oh, gee whiz, isn't there another asset category, asset group, asset class? I don't care what you want to call it, that might just so happen to be venture capital oriented, hint, 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 that looks like this. And the answer is an unequivocal yes. I mean, half of crypto looks like this. Let's and the best one to use is good old dog money, right? Dog money, dog money, dog money. And of course, we know that the top of the crypto market comes when what? Who can actually type this in? When does the top of the crypto market come in? And hint, 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 it has something to do with dog money. Not Doge, stupid idiot thief, but dog money. If you understand that reference, Chris, do you understand the dog money reference? You have any idea what the hell I'm talking about? No, I think we lost Chris. The gold stakes, right? Gucci bag, Gucci sweater wearers, eh? Anyway, there was a gentleman, his name is Remy. And there you go. Cole got it. I didn't give you enough time to answer, Cole. Sorry. You're the only one who knows what the hell that reference is. Damn, that's scary. But this is the same thing. The irony of all of this is, of course, what do you think the odds are that dog money is in reload zones now? Oh, what a surprise. Is that something we should be interested in? If you even need to have me answer that question, then you don't know what you're doing in the market. No offense. My apologies. I know I insult a lot of people a lot of the time. And really, you should get your butt in the education program and learn. Anyway, and if anything, this is a really good example of what we like to call, because this is venture capital, that we like to call this the venture capital reload zone, the 88.6 to 78.6 right in there. And I suppose, institutional players, the reason why I start my sort of study at 61.8, good old Mountain Man, is you do see a lot of institutional players, especially futures traders and stuff. They'll take this trade. But venture cap, it's notorious. In fact, there's one gentleman out of California, and he's referred a lot of people to us. Mr. Mo, he was in a group, and he was telling the group after taking our education program, like, I only put in bids at 88.6s. That's all I do. Even this one, I think Mr. Mo would still be waiting for a while. We probably need to come down and check this bottom. But, having said that, this, ironically enough, is actually now when the institutional players will start getting interested. So, all right. So there is the half hour. There is your market rant. Just looking at the newsletter, and thank you very much. I appreciate that, Chris. Hopefully you got a nice, big, juicy sales pitch why you should seriously consider joining TRI, joining the dashboard, and having access to this information. I mean, it's a shopping list, and it is a tool that is going to keep you out of trouble in the market. And that's what we're here to do, right? We're here to make money from trading. And the one thing you absolutely have to learn, go back to dog money, is there's no fucking way in hell, excuse my French, but you have to be serious about this. Maybe this is going to wake you up if I swear at you violently. You cannot chase and buy here. You can't do that. And if you really want to learn how to make money from trading, you really want to do this as a profession, you have to remove this behavior from even your vocabulary, everything. You have to get this out of your system. You cannot buy up markets like that. So is this worth $80 a month? We have two special buying windows that I would like for you to seriously consider. Obviously, the Black Friday, November sales window, Cyber Monday, shit on my face Tuesday, or whatever the hell it's called. I'm just being silly now. But the point here is, for $80 a month, if this thing just kept you out of considering wasting your money on ideas up here, then it was well worth the investment. And could you make that $80 a month kind of idea? Comes out to basically a grand a year on just one trade. And really the irony of all this is, what's the 50% rule? Could you come in here and buy in reload zones and look to sell at 50% retracements between now and sometime over the next 12 months? I think absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. This is like shooting fish in a barrel. This game is so easy if you have the patience and discipline to wait for, and what I put in the tweet, and this is a great example of this particular script. This happens to be the indicator confirmation part of our conversation. Where did I put the tweet? I love that rune. I've been buying up a bunch of that recently. So there's another example. I mean, there's so many. I could literally spend an hour here just going through all of the buys that I've done recently. And I bought a lot of stuff. Where was I? Over here? Yeah. This is indicators. This is this script here. I love this. This is literally the writing on the walls. This indicator starts spitting up these signals when indicators, or this script, start going into divergence. This indicator is literally writing on the wall. So the question is, can you do nothing more than, as a professional, just simply wait for the market to start telling you that it's ready to turn? And this is what it looks like when you have all of these indicators all going into divergence. Potential divergence can, when we're day trading and I see this script start spitting up 7, 8 confirmed divergences, I'm like, holy crap, I got to take a trade here. This is we've gotten to the point now where this is just, it's almost too easy. But the issue is, you have to have the patience of Job, and you just have to wait and wait and wait. That's the hardest part about all of this, is just waiting, right? Just be patient and disciplined. Okay, somebody was asking just over there on the YouTube page. Yeah, what about Bitcoin? What about Bitcoin? I would argue exactly the same thing of what's going on. And basically, I've been saying the same message now for about, I don't know, a month or two. Tom Lee came out and publicly said that he likes the idea of the market bottoming between 60 and 70,000. I don't see any reason to argue that. I also think that once we go through this bottoming window and we start heading up into the cycle peak apex, which I expect sometime September, October-ish, maybe November-ish, but probably October-ish. I think we're going to see a substantially higher price. I don't know how high goes, to be perfectly honest with you. If we bought out here, and this bot happens to be drawn off of these lows, so you can already tell that this level is not accurate. But if this is the lowest low, and I have no idea where the lowest low is, like I said, I like the idea, but somewhere between 60 and 70,000. I did see one reference though that I put out that I could actually see a dip down into like the high 50s. It wouldn't shock me. So this is the single collateral futures contract for Bitcoin over there on Kraken. Yeah, I trade a lot of futures Monday to Friday, so I might as well add this forwards contract to my watch list. Not really a future, but we don't need to get into that here today. Ironically enough, actually, the level tours are going to be doing that this week with Morant. But if this M is legit, and that sure looks like the market's smiling at us, then by definition, fog and bombs, we probably should come down to this 2.618. Based off of fog and bombs. And actually, this is an interesting addition. Hats off, give credit to Julian for insisting on adding this 1.618 to our chaos theory thinking. I see this level traded to repeatedly as we move our way down. But interestingly enough, what usually happens is we bang into 1.618, then we come back and do the Wyckoff checks. So I do think that this resistance level will be traded to again in the not too distant future. And I wouldn't even be surprised if into this solar eclipse window end, that we actually do see that bump up. But I definitely think sort of like by the time my birthday rolls around, I would not be surprised if this thing has rolled over and we are seriously testing the bottom end of the range here in earnest. And there certainly isn't any reason whatsoever for us to be thinking that we have a new bull market here. At best, we break this downtrend line, then we come back down, we put in a W on the other side of this downtrend line, and then we can start talking about bull runs and 50% retracements and reload zone tests and all that kind of stuff up top. But for the time being, V bottoms like to be tested. This was a V bottom that just came in here. We have a little bit of an ABCD, which could take us up into this resistance level. But once that's done, probably into that wick, you see there's a whole bunch of trap bulls right in there. And I think that's the Eric Trump, that stupidity about their Trump coin and all that, I can never remember that con job of an exchange that they created. I never remember what its name is. But Liberty, right? Of course, they're a typical Trump. He wraps, all this bullshit around all these, names that trigger Americans to get them all excited. So he calls his exchange Liberty Exchange. When, I hate to say it, but us humans, there's very, very little liberty left in this world. I hate to say it, especially with the way that he could literally just, this ICE agency can literally just pick you up if they even think that you're some sort of illegal immigrant in the States. They could pick you up and ship you off to a third world country like El Salvador, and you just get lost in their prison system for the rest of your fucking life. What kind of liberty is that? Holy shit. Oh man, this world. They often say, in fact, I think people were predicting that Donald Trump's actually the last president of the United States of America. I wouldn't be surprised if he turns it into some sort of dictatorship by the time this all is over. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. So the point here is that to me is a V bottom. We are going through sort of dead cat bouncy kind of price action. Market structure fail. I could very easily see a retest of 90 Gs here. That would not surprise me one bit. Probably even work our way along this trend line. But like I showed you on that weekly chart, over here, I think what's happening here right now, and I've talked to you about this for weeks on end. I mean, this is the reason why I teach this stuff. I use these moving averages for like, Jesus, I got my first job in this business in 1988. I think I probably sort of self-taught myself 13 EMA, 30 SMA through the dot-com boom. And I've been using these moving averages religiously since then. And I've been telling you that really I think that what's going on here is a moving average sandwich, where all we did was we tested the 30 SMA on the downside. And of course, get a lot of people all freaking out. Oh, sell, 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 sell. But ironically enough, the moving averages themselves are actually still pointed bullishly. So nothing's really changed here, especially on a weekly chart. The trend isn't turned down here, which is kind of ironic. Remember, we said that was a V top up there in the cash market. Those forwards markets did paint an M, which is a bit surprising, but it is what it is. But because this is a V off of this cash market, I fully expect that level to be tested at some point in the not too distant future. And I might even argue that there is a ton of trap bulls right up in that wick right up there. There's also a bunch of trap bulls in that wick. There's a bunch of trap bulls in that wick. All of these levels should be traded to on some sort of bounce, just to, if nothing else, just to release them. But my hunch here is that kind of like this bot level, although these bot levels are not accurate, so don't really refer to that. But I definitely think that a revisit of this level, and that's the same thing as that daily chart, right? That key resistance level. I think a test of the 13 EME here seems perfectly plausible. Also, too, you can see how we're sort of in between two, we'll call them value nodes. So here is one block, right? We'd call this double distribution, where you have one value node is down here. A whole bunch of people are long and short from this level. And we have another value node up here. And really, I might argue that the market's job is just to play ping pong between this block here and this block here. And of course, the in between of those two blocks, we affectionately like to call it a MUOC. If you know Spanish, MUOC stands for kiss. And if you can kind of use your imagination, what's Brian's thinking here? In years gone by, I would draw like a very well defined, what, and all that stuff. I won't go into that today. So, I think it's all, of course, and actually, I didn't even realize this in years gone by. I would always blame myself. But it turns out that it's actually a lady who lives down in Sacramento. It's all her fault why the market actually sells off into the early May here. So we're just going to blame it on Liz. Sorry, Liz. Thanks for nothing. Right, Adam. Although I think this girl actually, she needs to go to the doctor. Something's not right with the boob job. But anyway, ironically enough, the job of the profile is actually to be completely filled in here by time this thing is ready to explore a new trade location. So you might argue that all of this area needs filling in. That means a lot of buying and selling between about 93,000 and 70,000 needs to happen. And I think it will happen here. So it is what it is. Still like the idea of the corn rallying into our seasonal window. Nothing's really changed there whatsoever. And I'd also say, too, that I think what's going to happen here is, remember, these seasonal 4-year rally windows on Bitcoin, they have nothing to do with Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's original script, narration, whatever the hell you want to call it, I think it was based on these 4-year money cycles. And so they built the whole mechanism of Bitcoin around this so that it would correspond. But if anything, it's a beautiful coincidence that we've just gone through sort of a peak in short-term interest rates. The world economy is slowly breaking apart. I think that the money masters wanted to continue the socialist agenda, just add a zero onto the end of all your prices. But of course, you're going to have all the welfare and food stamps and shit that you want out the butt. And of course, the media will paint it as what a wonderful world we live in. The banksters, Rothschilds, of course, just continue to get richer and richer on our slavery. Unfortunately, and I think that the U.S. Federal Reserve Board, being the hegemony, was given instructions by the Rothschilds. All right, now time to officially, flood the market with money so that everybody thinks that times aren't so bad, and we'll just let Commie Cammy sneak her way back into office. That backfired horribly. Now they've got the Antichrist back in power there down in the States, orange toupees and all. And now I think that the banksters and the Rothschilds, or maybe the Rothschilds are the Antichrist. I don't know. That's politics. I'll leave that for you to make that decision. That's not my job. But the point is they are at odds. And now mysteriously, the U.S. Federal Reserve has decided it's not going to lower interest rates, and it's going to play hardball with Mr. Trump. Oh, great, wonderful. All the other central banks around the world are all freaking out and lowering interest rates dramatically. And ironically enough, the one place in the world that actually is showing a little bit of firmness here, and it's ironic because they've basically been dormant for like 20 years now, is Japan is finally starting to wake up a little bit. And I think that's actually got a few people's attention in the marketplace. But anyway, conversation for another day. Point of the matter here is we are in that friendly cycle window for interest rates. It should go on into the end of 2025, probably top out somewhere mid 2026. And then unfortunately at that point, then we have to go right back into crypto winters and all that kind of stuff. Fed starts talking about the interest rates and the inflation problem, and of course, we know that the inflation 2027, 2028 is just going to get absolutely crazy. It is what it is. So, might as well make hay while the sun's shining. We've got the wind at our backs here. And if anything, I've said it repeatedly. I've probably said it about 20 times here today. You can use the dashboard to help you see when markets are starting to get into attractive areas. I think this is an invaluable tool. And of course, on a daily basis, I haven't even looked at that. But on a daily basis, the system's spitting up ideas constantly if you are in there looking for ideas. But we won't get into that today. This is just a 64,000 foot overview of how to use the system. And the system, I think, is barking at us pretty loudly. Question is, do you have money to actually invest now? I'm hearing a lot of people say, well, no, I don't have any money. I can't take advantage of this. And that's exactly the way the market works. Unfortunately, the market got you all going crazy there through that election window and, dog money and how wonderful Allen is and all that crap. So you went and spent all your money through here, and now nobody has any money. And what a surprise, the market's actually backing up into a buying window. All right. Well, anyway, blah, blah, blah. So, whether it, and the funny thing is we could look at 20 different altcoins. In fact, how many were there in our list here? I think this is about 20 or so. Where did I have that? That's the S&P 500. I got them all over the place. Give me a second. There we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And this list only has 28 names. So that's like over, and I think I even put a tweet out to that effect. Like over 2/3 of our universe is saying, you better pay attention. And some of these names, this is everything I'm trying to teach you in the course. Bullish confirmed divergences. Willie's stupid. W's after W's. W's through 50 lines. Look at that fucking volume. Somebody's coming in there and spending some serious money. And oh, by the way, there's a W in price. And ironically enough, and if anything, this is great. I like to be an open book, and I like to just basically, show all of you how to do this. A lot of people can just watch, things like these free videos on YouTube, or watch, some of the free broadcasts we do, or, you know, um, subscribe to the Twitter feed, and they can teach themselves. But I will say that there's a lot of people in this world that can't do that. And I don't expect you to, especially if you're like, I'm an accountant, I'm a lawyer, I'm a human resource manager for the state of California. I don't expect you to be able to pick this up just like that. This is like 30, 40 years of my career at work here, folks. I think we've distilled the education program down into about a 1-year program. And if you work your asses off, I think in that 1-year program, you can pretty much learn what you have to learn. I see a lot of people sort of take a part-time approach to it, and it might take many years at a part-time pace to actually be able to apply all the information in the education program. But remember, it's like 35 years distilled into 35 weeks. But this is a really, really simple setup that I learned. Well, with the momentum component, like I added the momentum component over the past, say, 10, 20 years. But just learning to buy W's and take profits at 50% levels, and I'm going to risk the W. And I have to make sure that if it does go back to the 50% level, that it's at least a 2-to-1 risk reward. That's Kenny Roberts that I learned back in the 1980s. I mean, that's like 40 years ago. Nothing changes in this game, folks. This is why this simple principle, buying W's, take profits at 50% level, make sure that the trade is 2-to-1 risk reward. This is what gets you rich in this world. This is the whole idea behind the dashboard. And this idea that if you just calculate the 50% level, right? And the cool part about it is the machine does it all on its own. And then if you're thinking about buying and what's my risk, is the reward of taking profits at the 50% level twice as much as the risk that I'm going to take. That's the secret to making money at this game called trading. I mean, it's just that simple, and nothing has changed in like 30, 40 years of doing this. Now, we want to add in fun things like, well, is there a way for our indicators to actually tell us that this market is a hell of a lot stronger than what price is leading you to believe? And hint, 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 I just had that on the screen. The answer is an unequivocal yes, right? Can you actually listen to the market? Don't listen to some idiot's opinion. And for God's sake, don't listen to some politician's opinion. I mean, they're always wrong. In fact, I couldn't believe it the other day. I actually saw it and I tweeted it out this morning. Government-funded news media outlets in Canada are going on air with taxpayer money and telling Canadians they think it's a good time to buy Canadian real estate. Fuck me. That's with taxpayer dollars. That's criminal. That's fucking criminal. And I'm sorry I'm swearing so much. I know there's some people that are like, oh, Brian, please try and stop swearing so much. I got kids in the room. But it just drives you crazy. That's unfair, because I know as a capitalist, that's not the way the game works. 9 times out of 10, when something actually is a good investment, nobody in the public is interested in it. Nobody. And especially nobody in media. Media doesn't know what the hell they're doing. They're journalists, for fuck's sakes. Sorry, swore again. They're not traders. Anyway, the irony of this trade is, of course, up here, $3,000. This is where Trump and his idiot sons come out and say, buy Ethereum. It's a good place to be a buyer. Oh, yeah. How did that go, doofus? Ironically enough, do you hear anybody talking about, now's a good time to step in on Ethereum? Nobody, except for some stupid idiot Canadian guy. And yet the irony of it all is we have beautiful trade location, good old reload zones, everything I teach you in the education program. We've got our indicators incredibly bullish here. And we actually have an indicator that I built that was specifically designed to tell me when markets are overbought or oversold. And hint, 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 this market is officially oversold. And it turns out the trade's actually working pretty well right now. How ironic. And the cool part about this, when we put the newsletter together today, and what a perfect dovetail. What's the news? I mean, does this have anything to do with Sam Bankman-Fried or any of that kind of nonsense? No. This is about the SEC to introduce a blockchain-based tokenized version of the U.S. Treasury money market fund. Holy Shiite Muslim. Real-time settlement, putting traditional financial instruments on the blockchain. Fidelity's on-chain share class built on Ethereum. I mean, this is the irony of all of this, is after the fact, you're going to see the damn thing go skyrocketing higher, and everybody's going to go, oh, yeah, well, it was pretty obvious. Right? Fidelity came in here and basically bid the damn thing up. It drives you crazy, but it's beautiful. It's so absolutely incredibly cliche, this silly, this silly game. It is so incredibly cliche. Anyway, what do you think? Was Brian all full of piss and vinegar today? I hope you enjoy that. Let's head on over. I'll try and answer these questions, then head off to Lily. And hopefully you have yourselves a great rest of your day. So let's see what the hell we got here. All right, Bridgeforth asks, hi, Brian. I'm in level 1 class today. You said, quote, we are coming into the mother of all bull run. Sure hope you are all ready for it. Yeah. And you also said, one by one, names are slowly coming into location. Indicators are divvying out, and W's are coming in on price. Yeah. The game is so cliche. Monster of all bull markets. We wait for 4 years for these bulls. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say is coming. I would say it's already here. We're right in the middle of the sweetest part of the market. Do you have your shit together? Well, the fact that you're in the level 1 class, if you've worked your ass off here, then yeah, you should be getting your shit together. That's the whole point of taking the level 1. Do you have a plan? Do you know who you are as an individual? Have you clearly articulated what it is that you are actually doing here? Why are you in this? What do you want to get out of it? You got to articulate all of that. And 9 people out of 10 that come in here, they never do this. They're just like, oh, some guy says dog money's a good buy here. What the hell? I'd like to drive a Lambo one day. And hey, there's $1,000 I inherited from Uncle Louie. All right, let's go and pile it into dog money. Hey, is this a good price? Well, I don't know. The guy on TV says it's a good price. Or the guy in the White House says it's a good price. Like has Donnie ever actually had a really good stock trade in his life? Remember last time he was president, he was shilling that damn pharmaceutical stock that made him turn orange. And hence now we call him Orange Man. You guys remember that? Regeneron. And I actually learned recently that it turns out that the president and his entire family is actually legally excused from conflict of interest laws. But any person who is on the federal payroll, hint, 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 starts with Alan, they are subject to conflict of interest laws. And so the scuttlebutt right now is, how many conflict of interest laws did Alan break there with him having his silly battery-powered cars on the White House lawn there the other day, since he technically is part of the federal government with this silly dog money bureaucracy thing. Anyway, okay, so back to the question. I have heard similar warnings, such as all gains in the parabolic season are usually made in 5 days during the season. And if you miss those, then most of your gains will be missed as well. Well, hopefully what you've heard from me here, Bridgeforth, is in those 5 days when the market's going crazy, and let's see if any of you over on YouTube can answer this. In those 5 days, when the market's going absolutely nuts, we as rational investors are doing what? Adam, I know you know the answer to this. Where are your buddies? I saw them earlier. Where the hell are they? Jim and Liz. There you are, way up top. So we as rational investors, when the market is going crazy, come on, interact with me here, people, quickly. I don't have a lot of time. Very good, Kevin. All right, well, stick to the plan. What's the plan say that you do? If price is going up, what are you supposed to be doing? Pay yourself. Very good answer. DCAing out. Excellent. Spoon feeding. Very good. Nice answer, Galaxy Seb. Ring the register. Even better. Nice. Love it. Selling and spoon feeding the market. Perfect. Shorting. Excellent. Selling. Shorting. Good. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, say hi to your boy for me. Hope I'm not swearing too much for you. Sorry, dear. I miss you. Actually, I always like seeing your face there on these videos. Pay yourself. Very good. Jim and Liz are coming in. All right. So the point here is that when the market isn't going parabolic, when the market is actually going sideways, maybe even putting in W's, what should we be doing? And that's what we're doing right now. And is the public even the slightest bit interested? No, they're not interested at all. In fact, all they're talking about is how everything's going to go to zero. All right. Okay, you missed most of the gains and will be missed as well. All right. So thank you for the warnings. And of course, we in level 1 are not supposed to be trading anyway, just paper trades. Well, what I want you to do is I want you to get this process cropped down as quickly as possible. So you could be in level 1, and really what the documents that I have on the website are do 20 paper trades, do 21/10 account size trades. You can drill down to like a hourly chart and just be practicing. What does an L Tanganator setup look like? Do I have the price at the bottom end of the range? Do I have indicator confirmation? W's in MACD histogram, W's in RSI, W's in Willie stupidly oversold, and then W's in price, and just practice, hiccup, practice, barf, practice, puke, practice. Hopefully you're getting the idea. And of course, we in level 1 supposed to be trading just paper trades. And I am sure I am not the only student that does not entirely trust their TA skills at this point. And this is a really good point, Bridgeforth, is it might take you a cycle to actually really learn this in your soul, right? You might have to watch the crypto winter in 2026, 2027 and go, son of a bitch, that guy was right. Look at these prices just collapsing. You might have to go through that to actually really learn this in your soul. And I'm sure not the only goes to the point. And I want to make sure that I can buy and hold into this upcoming bull run. Well, I always like the idea that you sell half on a double, get your original capital back, and then maybe put that original capital back in the bank. And then all you have on your statement is a whole bunch of these free shit coins, or whatever the hell you want to call them, shit stocks, doesn't really matter. But that's all you have left on the books is just the free portion of your trade. Put the original money back in the bank, and then that way you can't lose the original money. I have no intention of trading, just holding and selling before the top. Okay, well, that's a bit of a contrarian statement there. I have no intention of trading, just holding and selling. Holding and selling, isn't that trading before the top? Okay. I don't like this statement. I want you to say that my plan is to trade setups, and then when the setup happens to double in price or hit my 2-to-1 profit objective, it really all depends on what type of player you are. If you're a futures trader, if you're even a Joe Sixpack, you probably want to concentrate on those setups, 2-to-1, 3-to-1, those kind of things. If you're a little old lady and it's just buy and hold, well, sell halves on doubles works really well. Technically, that is more like investing than trading. Okay, yeah, fair enough. But I really don't like the difference between the investor word and trader word. The only difference is time frame. That's the only difference. Um, so I don't necessarily agree with this. I don't really like how they've sort of changed this. Really, the only difference between trading and investing, like I said there a second ago, is time frame. That's it. You have said that at some point soon you suspect a bottom will come in which we will be in which would be the point to load up at, and after that a bull run was likely to coming. Which are you calling the mother monster of all bull runs? Well, the mother monster of all bull runs. God, I talk about this every single day on the site. The January barometer has already telegraphed it. This is the monster of all bull runs that I think is staring us in the face. And I might even argue that crypto should look very, very similar. And ironically enough, I think what's going to happen here is it's going to be the tokenization of the entire money market industry that's going to cause all of this to happen. And I still think that Mr. IBIT, Mr. Fink, he wants to get paid. He knows what's coming. So that's what and you can see this. I mean, what letter of the alphabet does that look like? When you see this W come in, the buying window is over. And if anything, at this point, all of the little pieces of shit, like the dog money, all of these things are all going to start be running up, right? By the time we get to this point right here, and that's, you can see that's the middle of the summer right there. So this is sort of like, kind of like birthday time windows, right? And actually affect the weekly chart, right? That's so I think that we're right in the middle of this correction. I still think that there's another pretty healthy leg to the downside to go here to get Bitcoin down to like 60, 70,000. Having said that, could we get a little bit of a bump up here to revisit these structural levels? And the little sort of trades that I'm doing of late, things like the Ethereum trade, that's just based purely on this dead cat bounce expectation. But make no mistake about it, I'm still looking for kind of a thumping here on the other side of this eclipse window. And Easter this year is falling really, really weird time. I've never seen Easter come this late. Easter weekend isn't until like the 20th of April. It's a very, very, very late holiday. And I think that's going to really screw up a lot of people's sort of regular behavioral patterns. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're going to have a little bit of screwiness here following this eclipse window here through that Easter holiday break. It's going to be a really weird period for us all. All right, so that is your visual demonstration of what the monster of all bull markets looks like. And I think I think really the answer is that. I'm going to say C, Jan barometer commentary. Let's say May through October window. And let's put that there, and let's put that there, and there. Oh, guess I didn't do the link. Where the hell was that? Over here. And we'll put a big arrow. Actually, here, why don't we, let's go like that. Oop, clone. There we go. Bad. Copy link. Paste link. Oosh. All right. That's weird. Oh, quit being a nuisance. Oh, look at all this. God damn it. I hate stupid computers. Okay, well, that's the only way I know how to do it. So stay. Okay, if I'm not mistaken, you also said that after this first parabolic wave up, we are likely to have a second wave down, perhaps sometime closer to your birthday. All right, well, I just talked about that. Where we can take an even deeper dive and then one final blow off top. Yeah, I like that. I mean, that's everything about the weekly study that I shared with all of you right here. So good old Tom Lee. Dump. And remember, Bitcoin always corrects last. So you're going to find that the shit coins, they do their funny things. And then that last ultimate capitulation is Bitcoin dumps, makes some sort of great panic low. This was it last year, and there in August. Then we W out and away we go. So I think we're going to see a very similar type price action here. Big dump out into, you can see our funny little dotted arrows, the end of the correction window, start new bull market, which I think is basically over here. But I think your ultimate low is put in right around my birthday. And ironically enough, 60, 70,000 from 80 some odd thousand, that's not really that big of a move. In Bitcoin, fuck, I remember the days Bitcoin, you could, it would lose 50% just like that. And it's so ironic that people in this space right now, they don't even know any of that. It's so typical. Okay, so hopefully that speaks to that. From my perspective, I want to double things and I want to use relatively safe assets for investing, safe being a relative term in crypto. Well, I would strongly concentrate on the weekly commodity trend survey and hunting the setups that you've learned in the education program, specifically the L Tanganator, on names that are either attractive or hunting longs in the weekly commodity trend survey. It's just that simple. So if this were your current game plan and you were going to limit yourself to BTC, ETH, SOL, and Link, I'm not quite sure where that came into the conversation, but okay. How would you allocate it and when would you start to DCA in? Well, the whole point, of course, is trade location, indicator confirmation, price structure, go. Interestingly enough, if we go back to the platform, is Bitcoin in an attractive zone? And the answer is no, it isn't. It's a meh. So Bitcoin isn't even at the point where I would even consider dollar cost averaging. Is Solana there? Yes, Solana is there. Is Ethereum there? Oh yeah, Ethereum is there. So again, just going back to what I said, this is the same thing. Just use the weekly commodity trend survey as a, all right, what am I allowed to start thinking about shopping in? And if it is a muh on here, leave it alone. Then once you go to the weekly commodity trend survey, like that damn Walgreen boots, holy crap. When I saw that, I was like, I can't believe this. Does this really look like this? And it actually did. It's the same damn chart. I couldn't believe that. I mean, this is where the hell did I put it? Did I have it over here? Oh, that's weird. Oh, maybe I have it here. Is this where I had the Walgreen boots? I can't remember if I did it over here or not. Ah, look at God damn, look at that chart. It's incredible. I mean, if I was a serious investor and I wanted to go and invest my money in the marketplace to make capital gains. That, my friends, is something I have front and center. It's like the same thing as looking at it here, and you see what came next. It could also be something along these lines, but notice that we didn't really move above the moving averages here. Look at that beautiful moving average cross. Oh my God, this is so sexy. That's just absolutely textbook beautiful. So anyway, the point here is that ironically enough, the process doesn't change a heck of a lot. I hope you're seeing this, walking through this. I guess the way that I would look at it for you is I would just simply say, all right, let's create a new layout. We're going to call this the, well, we'll call it the crypto 4 because you had like 4 names that you were interested in. And I would just simply load up each of the charts, draw on your reload zones. You can start dollar cost averaging. Oops, well, I don't need to connect it to futures contracts. Crypto 4. So we'll go, what did you say? BTC. I think that was one of them. Maybe we'll try and do all these on Coinbase. I don't know. See that? Ugh. No. Not even the slightest bit interested. Sorry. You can see where I can get interested. Didn't Tom Lee say something about 60 to 70,000? I mean, fuck this. It drives you nuts how cliche this shit is, right? There's Tom Lee's buying window right in there. And there's reload zones. So, I don't know. This is just a no. It's just not there. That's not a buying window. Sorry. So, but the point here is why don't you just do something like this, right? So we've got, there's Bitcoin. You said you wanted ETH. So do the same thing. And then let's draw our reload zones and let's see whether this one's in a reload zone. That definitely is there, but I think this is an even bigger one. Hey, look at that. Nice. Is this one at or below reload zones? The answer, of course, is yes, it is. So no reason why you can't do this, right? So this, unfortunately, and every single week you could pull this up and go, no, yes. All right, so I can move forward to step 2. Do I have indicator confirmation on this, right? And you can do one for what you have, Solana. You're interested in Solana. Me personally, I don't know why I'd be interested in Solana. But, I mean, I suppose setups are setups are setups. Same sort of logic. I mean, the issue here, and actually Adam loves this one, Sacramento Slapper. 1 year, 50% rule. Oh, yeah, okay, so somewhere in there. That's not bad. So I think Adam was like, oh my God, look at I can buy against those levels. I'm just totally stepping in there. And that's pretty smart. 50% level, looking for dead cat bounces. Oh, okay. That's probably going to paint a profit target around $200. So, oh, what a surprise. 100 and changed up to 200. There's your double. So at this point, right, we trade location wise, we go, all right, check. That one works. So at the very least, you now can see exactly who's eligible to be dollar cost averaging into and who isn't. Right. And then you had Link, right? That was your last one. And I'm not commenting on the fundamentals on any of these names. You've chosen them. Hopefully you've done your due diligence. You have done all your fundamental analysis, and there is fundamental justification for you hunting value in these names. I'm not going to touch that. We don't have enough time today. But what I'll just simply say from a technician's perspective, this is a really easy way to get you going. I'm only allowed to buy at or below reload zones. And so now I can clearly see Bitcoin, leave it alone, Ethereum, buyable, Solana, buyable, Link, buyable. Then you can go at this point, all right, since these ones are in buying zones, I can start my dollar cost averaging. Now, if I actually want to hunt setups where I'm thinking about taking some serious risk on these, Joe six-pack kind of risk models, Well, let's start actually hunting for indicator confirmation. And as we had said earlier, you want to keep it really simple. You can just be like, all right, I just want to see the writing on the walls. Do we have writing on the walls that, yes, this is an attractive investment idea? And keep it as simple as possible. You don't need to do all that. Just, well, now you can see I'm starting to see the writing on the walls. Then the last key, so we've got check. Now, do I have a W that I can risk against? And if that check comes in, then I've got 3 unrelated reasons to justify taking a trade. I got me a setup. Let's rock and roll. It's just that simple. So hopefully you saw how I did that. I suppose at some point we'll create a W finder. Of course, Stuart already has that on the website. So hopefully we can get to the point where we can actually have these indicator confirmation messages on the site, and of course W indicators on the site, and you can do everything right off the site. That's our big objective for the end of the year. But this is a pretty good example, and obviously watch the video as you go through this of how I would suggest you do this. Boom. Create matrix. Follow 3-step process. Trade your plan. If you need further commentary on this, let's circle back around tomorrow, and I'll expound on this a little further. But we'll say answer, watch vid while reviewing these charts. And what's the time here? Oh God, where the hell are we on this video? I have no idea how to find this out. Anybody know what the time's? 1:26? Yeah. An hour and a half, eh? So I should probably wind this up. Charts, and we'll go watch bench. Roughly 1:26. While we're doing these charts. All right. All right, I hope that helps. And one follow-up question, how much weight do you give this, which appeared today in Cointelegraph? A Bitcoin weekly close will be critical for resuming upside momentum. I hate these kind of statements. They're stupid. Whose opinion is this? Did somebody actually officially say use the word critical? Fuck you. I mean, this is just some, and the worst part about it is journalists actually fancy themselves traders. And they're never. I mean, if I didn't know how to make money from trading, well, then maybe I'll go into journalism. But I've never heard anybody say, you know what? I know how to trade. I love making money from trading. It's a lot of fun. You know what? I'm just going to screw this and go get a job as a journalist. Never. Usually it goes the other way around. Anyway, a Bitcoin weekly close would be critical for resuming uptrend momentum. To me, you know what this is? This in a weird sort of way sounds like these stupid robots, the way that they're they pick up on a news headline, and like the chat GBT, and Chris even does this with our newsletter, is these things, they just spit up the same thing. Have you ever seen those news broadcasts at like 6:00 in the evening, and you turn on and every single news anchor says exactly the same line, and you're like, did they all just get the same script? That's what I see here. Okay. So yeah, if anything, this makes a horse race. If anything, I like to see this, a little bit of, back and forth. And really, I'd be curious, bridge forth, and I'm going to actually leave it off on this because I think I should get going here. But I'm going to ask, what does Brian think of anyone's opinion in the market? And then what does Brian think? Interesting how this Google Sheets wants to finish that, of setups in the market. So if you can answer this, then actually it answers all of this, because all this is opinion, right? That's all it is. Everything else is meaningless. And it's kind of interesting as I'm talking to you about the very bought nature of how all of this is going. Look at some dickhead doofuses here. I have USDT on OKX, and my 12-word recovery phrase is fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. And so Karen wants us all to come over and gangbang her. Is that what's going on here? Stupid fucking robots. I mean, this whole computer thing and the way the internet's gone, and Karen, go fuck yourself. And the sad thing is Karen is probably some, like, hate to say it, but probably some Asian sitting in some fucking cubicle in the middle of like Laos, and has a gun to her head to go and post this shit. Look at this. How many times this stupid Karen fuckhead here is posting this same stupid spam bullshit about this OKX nonsense. So it just goes to show how much crap is in this entire space. It's all shit. And ironically enough, this stupid idiot, Brian Beamish out there, is trying to help you people. And yet all we do is get just blasted with either this kind of garbage that all it is opinion and is completely meaningless, or Karen over here wanting us to go over there and gangbang her so she gets her USD off of OKCoin, which is a total bullshit scam garbage crap that this whole social media nonsense has turned into. So there's your answer for you. The answer is refer to Karen wanting us to gang bang her, which of course we say her, question mark, question mark, question mark, some fucking drone in the middle of Laos with a gun to their head. That's what's going on here in this space right now, which is just horrible, eh? Absolutely horrible. And look at this other person, Andre Schultz. Andre, you got no business being here. Go away. Fucking idiot. All right. So on that note, party. I mean, I got to tell you, ironically enough, from a risk taker's perspective in the market, this is a fucking killer market. This is perfect. There's so much money to be made here over the next 6-8 months in this market. It is insane. And how ironic. All we got is people here trying to con us into somehow going over to OKCoin and plugging in 12-word phrases to try and get free USDT. I mean, these people are so clueless. And the sad part about it is the public just gets sucked into the scam and the bullshit. You know when the public is going to be as excited as Brian is right now? The day Brian's actually banging out doubles and is all over Twitter talking about how much money I'm making in the market. And you fools in the public who are, the Karens of this world, they're actually going to be like, oh, buy dog money now at the top end of the range and you'll get rich. Anyway. Okay. Sorry, David. Ran out of time here today. It is 12:45. I got to get going for Lily. So we'll circle back around. I'll try and answer this question in the show tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed the enthusiasm. I absolutely love the market right now. I think if you have your shit together, this is a buyer's paradise. It's beautiful. The only issue here that we have to ask is don't put yourself into a position where one trade could F you over. Because I definitely think, as I pointed out, I mean, this is one setup. We have definite risk management rules about TRI. I never risk more than 5% of my stake on any one single idea ever. So I'm never going to bet the farm on anything. I just, slow and steady wins the race. And I think this is actually a really good visual of what I think the next 6 months are going to kind of look like. And this actually is just over the next few months. But I definitely think this happens to be a name that is on the attractive list in our shopping list. You can see the writing is on the walls. You can see that we have excellent trade location. We're down at the bottom end of ranges. You can see that there are W's trying to form here, but I think that this could get extremely choppy here. So don't go on like margin leverage trade your family fortune on one trade here. My hunch, and this is what actually the message that I've sent to the public is, if you're relatively new to this game, maybe just let these bottoms come in where you look back and you go, holy crap, look at that beautiful honking well-defined W. Then you get some big run up. Then you get the Wyckoff check back down against the bottom, reload zones and all that kind of talk. And you sneak your way in over here. You don't have to be a hero and call bottoms. I think we're early, and I do think that there are setups forming. But at the same time, too, this is venture cap. So it's probably going to take a month or two to get through this ugly bottoming window. And if you can force yourself to accumulate against bottom ends of ranges, I think there's tons of money to be made here. And the irony of it all is this is the only business when stuff goes on sale and the market's even telling you that this shit's on sale, nobody wants to buy. All right. I think that I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much, Preston, for the best wishes for Lily. I'll know that you're not a bot if you actually wish Lily and I luck on the road. Thank you very much, Jim and Liz. Appreciate that. Adam loves his Solana at these levels. So, hey, if you like Adam, then might as well pay attention. And F you to all you stupid bots. You're such a waste of time. And you're so obvious. You stupid botters, you're so obvious. And botter is probably not the right word. These spammers, the shillers, the con artists. You don't even realize how obvious you are. You're so dumb. And I think it's because a lot of these people, they don't even speak English. They don't even understand proper English grammar. So when they come on, they're just being told a script. Like I said, I think they're in the middle of fucking layouts and they've got a gun to their head. That's how fucked up this world is right now. So anyway, thank you for the best wishes for Lily and I on the road. And I can come back in one piece and do all the fun and frivolity with you again tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed the enthusiasm, and I hope the message that I sent you here today has been pretty darn clear. You know what? I'm going to leave the broadcast with one image, and I'm not even going to expound on it. I'm just going to simply, and let's use this link. This is what the market state is right now. The only issue here, though, is I cannot tell you how to read that statement. I know how I read it, but I can't force you to read that one way or the other. And yes, there are two very distinct ways of reading that line. I'm going to leave it up to you, but I can simply tell you from my perspective, I'm reading opportunity is now here. And that's the way that I'm looking at things. All right. Have yourselves a great day. PMA for the win. Don't take no wooden nickels. Remember what your number one job is. All the best. And the only thing left Brian said to you is bye for now.